Well, hello, hello, hello. Divine Diva, we are going to talk about new leadership codes leading into the 5D without burnout or resistance. Because guess what? The way we lead, influence, and move power in this world is changing. You already feel it. The old ways of leading, like domination, control, hierarchy, that triangle, right? Hustle. These are not sustainable anymore. They are literally being vibrationally deleted from the planetary grid. The earth is hitting delete, delete, backspace, backspace, delete, delete, delete. And so CEOs who built their empires through force are crashing. Leaders who ruled through fear are being exposed, and influencers who manipulated their way to the top are losing relevance overnight. We are witnessing the collapse of 3D leadership and the emergence of an entirely new system. And if you are meant to lead in this era, which if you're listening to this, you definitely are, you need to listen to this and understand why 3D leadership tactics of push, hustle, authoritarian based power no longer work. You need to understand why the hidden mechanics of 5D leadership, how power, influence, and wealth are now going to move and be energetically. And you need to understand the three biggest leadership shifts that you need to make right now to stay ahead of the curve. We are in real time evolution. And so we are going to break this all the way down. Grab your kombucha, your tea, your wine, whatever it is. Sit back, listen, turn this up, get those headphones on tight, and let's go. All right, so let's talk about why 3D leadership tactics are no longer working and why a lot of leaders are struggling right now. Because right now, if you are watching, there's so many leaders, big names, powerful people, well-known influencers, influential women. They're suddenly struggling to keep up. And it is because they built their empire on 3D power principles. And these principles are glitching out of reality. So 3D leadership is based on force. That looks like work harder, push through, hustle till you make it. Authority. Power comes from status, hierarchy, external validation, and control. If I can micromanage enough, I can guarantee my results. Those three things are glitching out. You see, the Earth, the planet, the frequency is rising. It is basically risen. And 3D leadership was built on a low frequency control matrix. That matrix is disintegrating in real time. So, what happens when you try to build a business, an empire, or a movement on a foundation that is literally dissolving beneath your feet? You burn out. Your influence stops working. Your success hacks stop working. And everything starts to feel super hard. You've seen it. Those influencers whose content used to go viral, now struggling to get engagement and then blaming the algorithm. What about the entrepreneurs whose sales used to flow and now they're scrambling for clients and they're saying, oh, it's the economy? Or the CEOs who used to dominate in their industry now in a full PR crisis mode? The 3D leadership is not only outdated, it is also being vibrationally erased. And so, what are the hidden mechanics of 5D leadership? How is influence, wealth, and power going to move now? How is it moving now? Because if I tell you this, you are going to be able to ride it. You're going to get on the beginning stages of the wave and you are going to ride it. And so let's get into some energetic science. Because true leadership isn't about doing things differently. It's about understanding how power now moves on this planet. Because 5D leadership is not taken, it is radiated. 5D leadership is built on magnetism, which means I don't chase, I don't force, I am, therefore they follow. Embodiment. Power is not something I hold over others, it is a frequency that I carry. And those who align with it are naturally drawn in. And quantum presence. My words, my energy, my presence shift people at an atomic level. I told my audience a story about how I was in a car and I was driving Uber. This was during the times right before I filed for bankruptcy or right during it. And I was still like blowing this business up, working hard. But I decided that I just got to be the influence and be the person that people would adjust to, that they would come to, that they would love my work. And I decided that driving Uber was going to be my ministry, right? I was just going to give people the best ride that they've ever had, help them live the best, most amazing life that they could ever live. And so I picked her up. This woman, she was angry. She's just not in a good mood. And I could have let that shift my frequency, but I did not. I took her bag, I put it in the trunk, I opened the door for her, and I started off on the 15-minute ride to the airport. I said absolutely nothing to her. Music was very at a low pace, and I will never forget, I was turning the corner. It was about 2 minutes before we get to the airport. I was turning around the bend, and she said, "Who are you and what do you do? Because I know it's not driving Uber." And I laughed and I said, "Well, I'm Christine Michelle, and I just wrote a book called The Aligned Receiver. I'm a coach and a mentor. I have a transformational business." And she was like, "The moment I got into your car, I knew something was different. I was so angry because my boyfriend that I've been with for several years was cheating on me with my best friend. And so in a moment, she lost the two most important people in her life. She was so upset, her tension in her body. And as she rode with me, she said she just started to feel better in her heart. She felt better. And she knew that her life was going to be better than ever. And she said it was my presence. I didn't say a damn word to that woman. She said it was my presence. She was like, "Let me buy this book right now." She bought my book before she got out of the car. And she said, "Thank you so much. You've changed my life." And all I did was be in my God frequency. All I did was sit there and not need to coach her, not need to tell her to be happy, not need to tell her, "Why aren't you smiling?" I let her be, and I let her experience God frequency with no judgment, no needing for her to change to make me feel better. That's quantum presence. That's embodiment. That's magnetism. And to this day, this woman, she shortly after found the love of her life. She's married, she's got kids, and she's still in my audience over 6 years later. And this is why a single post from a 5D leader can shift reality, because there's no need for a content strategy. They speak and the people move. This is why a single decision from a 5D leader can collapse timelines, because there is no need for lead generation and opportunities to arrive, because their presence shifts reality itself. And I am not vilifying anything. Of course you can do ads. Of course you can do all of this stuff. All I am saying is that the world is shifting and you need to shift your frequency to meet it. A single glance, a single breath, a single moment of being from a 5D leader can create wealth, influence, and impact effortlessly. Power no longer moves through force, it moves through frequency. And so these are the 3 biggest leadership shifts you must make now. Shift 1. Stop leading from your mind and start leading from your frequency. Don't try to strategize, analyze, and think your way to leadership. Become the frequency of the leader you want to be. And so instead of overthinking content, you speak and it lands because it comes from your pure, embodied knowing. You no longer try to convince people. You be, and those who resonate show up instantly. Shift 2. You release the need to be in charge and start holding the space. Instead of trying to own the room and be the loudest or exert control, you hold a field so powerful that others naturally step into alignment around you. You become the woman who is always invited, never chasing opportunities. Your presence alone makes the shift. You don't need to control the conversation. And shift 3, you move from hierarchical to quantum influence, from the triangle to the circle. Instead of trying to climb the ranks and prove that you are worthy of leading, you recognize that leadership is about radiance, not status. One of my clients, her name is Jessica Radiance, and I always love to say it because she's just radiating such pure love. That's quantum influence. And so what this looks like in real life is that you show up and you speak as if millions are already listening, even if you're talking to one person or even 0. And you no longer second guess your worth because you know that you were born worthy. It never changed. You know that your worth isn't tied to anything else because you are worth. And you know that your knowing, your confidence, and your certainty is what moves people. This is what we do in Divinity House. It's where you master 5D leadership. You stop trying to be chosen and remember you are the leader who already chose herself. You activate your frequency so powerfully that wealth, influence, and impact bend to match you. You become the woman who owns her own space on a quantum level. And if you know, join us. The leaders of the new paradigm are choosing themselves. So remember this, that power no longer moves through force, it moves through frequency. Keep it bougie, stay healed, and be divine, diva.